Today we are here in Germany with Amazon at their Amatechnica event. It's their big field day they put on in Germany every year. They bring out all their machines to showcase lots of cool things that we don't see in America. So they flew us over here and we are gonna do a full tour of their field day, showcase some of the coolest things and talk about some of the differences that we see in some of their machinery over here compared to the US. This is a 3-point spray rig. Pull behinds are also a lot more common here. So this is the Unimog I was talking about. One of the coolest pieces of engineering I've ever seen. I have not seen a single John Deere. So behind me here is the Ag Exceed. I don't really know exactly what they call it, but we got to come out here last night and check out a bunch of stuff. And the thing with this is it's a self-driving tractor, but they've already sold 200 units and have them like working in fields already, which blew my mind. Partnership between Exceed, Kloss, and Amazon to kind of put the company together, and they've already sold 200 of them. And they want to get one in the US at some point. So I'm super interested in it just because they've already had 200 units out working in the field. This is not self-driving tractor in theory. This is self-driving tractor in practice already here working. So for those of you who don't know, Amazon is a German equipment manufacturer. They're very big in Germany and they're just kind of working their way in the US. What you guys probably know them for is their spreaders. I've seen more Amazon spreaders than I've seen everything else. They've brought them to all the farm shows and everything, but they also have a really comprehensive line of tillage equipment as well as planting equipment that we'll probably start to see more of in the US in the future. They also have some really cool sprayers that we'll show in a few minutes, but very interesting, compact technology, very different mindset in Germany for how their equipment works. Everything's got to fold up to within a couple meters, so that way it can fit down the roads easily. There's way more tillage over here, so their planting mechanisms look way different than what we have. Their spreader technology is way above anything we see in the US, mostly because they don't really have any liquid over here. I learned that yesterday. Almost no one has liquid systems on their planters or anything like that. So any fertilizer they're putting out is either through the sprayer or through dry fertilizer. Americans are allergic to hitch pins for some reason and 3-point stuff, so they have a tractor for everything. In Germany, it very much seems people are constantly hooking things up or taking things off. So tractors have a lot more tasks. So a lot of times you will have the tractor go from planting to spreading to whatever else you need it to do quite frequently. And so everything in Europe seems to have a 3-point version, including these spreaders. So all these spreaders go on the back of a tractor. They're huge. They go on a 3-point system, work the exact same way as one of these pull behind ones do, just a little less capacity. So Amazon produces a bunch of different 3-point variations, a bunch of different pull behind variations, and they also manufacture the version that will go on a spreader frame in the US, because we have a lot of self-propelled spreaders. They don't have many self-propelled spreaders over here. So you would see something very similar like this box on a spreader in the US. You just take that off, put it on a spreader frame like your co-op would have, and you would see that. So, but this is one of the main bread and butter products that I see a lot of in the US from Amazon is their spreader bodies. So like I was saying earlier, they have a lot of 3-point stuff in Europe, including 3-point sprayers. And so this is a 3-point spray rig. So once again, it goes in the back of the tractor. It's got tanks up here. They offer a front mounted tank as well that you can plumb into the back so you can have more liquid on the front. But once again, not as many self-propelled sprayers out here as there are in the US. So sometimes the best option is a 3-point mount sprayer. And so the booms can go all the way up to 100 feet on the 3 points too, I think, which is just sounds crazy having that just like weight on the back of the tractor. But they're pretty cool looking machines. They have one parked over there. We'll show over there in a bit, but lots of 3-point sprayers from Amazon. They also have pull behind sprayers like this one over here. Pull behinds are also a lot more common here. I've seen a few in the US, not Amazon, but seen a few pull behind sprayers. And then they also have some self-propelled sprayers down there. And their self-propelled sprayers are the ones that have been taking off in Europe. They're selling a bunch of them. And then I was talking to one of the sales guys we came up with. They are starting to sell some of the 3-point sprayers in the US. He's sold a few of them so far. So maybe we'll start to see more of that machinery in the US. I continue to predict that we'll see more and more European machinery enter into the US. It's compact, it's very efficient. It's meant to work in I think more constrained environments, and so the efficiency from them often is just as good, if not better, than US machines. So it's really cool to see all this stuff. They're really good looking machines. So that's their sprayers. Over here we got planters, they have corn planters, they got grain drills over those. We'll cover those in a second. So I think one of the coolest parts about the show is they also have a vintage tractor section. And I've seen plenty of vintage tractors at shows before, but these are all European machines. So I'm excited to walk through and see what we got. So we're just gonna walk around and see what we find. Mercedes makes, well, used to make tractors. They actually, well, I think they have one over there. They used to make the Mercedes Unimog, which was like a truck slash tractor. It was like a truck that could go like 50 miles an hour, but also had PTOs in the front and the back and had a bunch of different attachments. So yeah, Mercedes made tractors. Lawns, seen a couple of those before. Never seen Kramer before. Never seen a tractor this color before. So this is the Unimog I was talking about. It's a truck, but it also has a PTO on the front. It's got hydraulics on it. There, I believe, is also an air system on it. They were super hard to get in the US. One of my neighbors has one, and it just sits back there, and I've always kind of wanted to ask him if I could buy it, but it's literally a truck that you can like drive on the highway. It's got a bed on it. Had a bunch of different attachments. You could put backhoes on them, you could put loaders on them. So has PTO up front, all the hitches and everything back here, air on there, PTO back here as well. I mean, just absolute, it's like the Leatherman of trucks. It can just do everything. And yeah, they're super cool. I would love to have one as a collector's item at some point. Just one of the coolest pieces of engineering I've ever seen. So far, I have not seen a single John Deere at this trade show yet, but I have found an international. So at least one American tractor here. So one thing that I found interesting when we were touring Amazon's factory yesterday, they had a sign up that the top rated equipment manufacturers in Germany, #1 is Fendt, then it's Amazon, and then right under that, that's Kloss. And so those three are the top 3 company, and John Deere is way on the bottom, and Case wasn't even on the list. So totally different than the US when it comes to the equipment brands people like and people drive. So this is Amazon's corn and bean planter. I don't know how long they've been making these. I've never seen one in the US. I do find it's very interesting how long the tank is on there. You don't see that on a lot of US planters. I know the Fendt machine has a very similar kind of long style tank. But yeah, I don't really know much about this other than the fact it's a planter. So their drills, on the other hand, which I think are super cool, are what are actually interesting. So let's go talk about some drills. I have kind of become obsessed with grain drills, especially box drills in the past year. I think they're one of the coolest things that farmers have ever invented. I think they're simple, I think they work, but these drills are on a next level. So there's a lot more tillage in Germany than in the US. We have a lot more no-till going on in the US. And so because of that, soil bed preparation is a way bigger deal around here. And so one of the biggest things with pretty much all their drills, they do have no-till drills, is that they are prepping the seed bed after they've probably already tilled. They're prepping the seed bed to put the seed into and then finishing it after. So, you know, a lot of the drills in the US, especially box drills and even some of the air seeders, you know, it's relatively simple. It's opening the trench, putting a seed in, closing it up, and that's pretty much it. Here, you've got tillage going on here. You have a roller here to help smooth things out. You're dropping seed, potentially fertilizer, depending on the model, and then you're helping finish it up in the back. So you have this beautiful seed bed by the time you go through it. I would love to see one in the field. It's a little wet today, so I don't think they're gonna run one, but super interesting, very different than what we have in the US in terms of box drills and air seeders. All right, we're gonna walk down this row of equipment and we're gonna show you everything they got. Fendt tractor with a pull behind spreader. We have a Fendt tractor with a 3-point mount spreader. We have a Deutz with a 3-point sprayer and a tank up front. We have an Amazon self-propelled sprayer. Ooh, I like this. We have a Massey 8S over here with a 3-point mount tillage piece. See, look at what I'm saying. Everything here seems to have a 3-point version. That is a lot of weight sitting on a 3-point. We have another Fendt tractor. There's a reason Fendt's #1 here is because they can't get enough of them. With a drill attached to it. That's a unit. That's an absolute unit. We've got a Kloss tractor with a, gosh, I can't remember what they were calling this last night. Basically, it just helps take kind of that top layer residue and chop it up a little bit. So very minimal tillage with a drill attached to the back of it. We have a JCB, the fastest tractor on the market, attached to, looks like another one of those. Gosh, what was it called? What was the name? Anyways, it's got a hair on the back of it too. And then Case tractor with a bar on the front of it. This would be a self-propelled manure applicator. So that'll get loaded with manure, It'll pump it onto the ground, put it into the ground. We have pull behind versions like this in the US. I've never seen something self-propelled like that. Got a Kloss tractor over here, put some tillage equipment. We have a New Holland with a massive moldboard plow on it. Another Kloss tractor here with another moldboard plow on it. We have a Valtra tractor. These are super interesting. So if you guys don't know, Valtra is also owned by AGCO. They don't sell them in the US, but they're a lot bigger here in Europe. So a Valtra tractor with a 3-point mount drill in the back with a little roller compactor up front. There's a lot of front mounted stuff here. There's a lot of 3-point mounted stuff here. It just seems to be, they've seemed to make their tractors more useful in more different ways. So Fendt tractor here, looks like it's got a actual planter on there. Another Valtra with a front mounted little field cultivator there. Another self-propelled sprayer. Kloss with a pull behind sprayer. And a little Massey, I'm assuming a snow machine. I'm assuming this probably brushes off sidewalks, and it's got a salt spreader on the back. I've seen a few of those in the US, not that exact setup. And then I believe this is a very fancy lawnmower. Shout out to Amazon for flying us out here to do some videos and give us a tour of their factories and everything and bring us out to their field day. Super impressed with a company sponsored field day. This is a ton of fun. It's been a great time getting to meet everyone here and learn so much about just agriculture in a different country. Yeah, so shout out to Amazon. Go check them out. They're starting to push it in North America a lot more. They've got dealers around the country. So we're gonna go watch some more field demos. We have another factory tour, and then next week it's back to the US to farm in some wheat.